So, Australia just had an election. And guess what? The Labour Party is back in power with a big old victory. And this win means they've got a strong mandate to make some serious changes. Now, if you're a migrant or an aspiring skilled worker looking to call Australia home, this is your indication to pay attention, because the new government isn't wasting any time. Starting from 1st July 2025, a whole bunch of policy shifts are expected to kick in. And yes, that includes changes to migration, visas, regional pathways, and possibly even how occupations are prioritized. But don't stress. We're here to unpack it all for you, broken down nice and easy. So, grab a coffee and let's get into what this all means for you. Australia. Still open, but a little more selective. Look, Australia isn't shutting its doors to migrants, but it is tightening the bolts a bit. After reaching a record-breaking net overseas migration figure of 510,000, the government had a wake-up call. It looked at the numbers, looked at the strain on housing and services, and essentially went, "All right, that's probably a bit too much." In response, they've rolled out a plan to bring migration numbers back down to 250,000 by mid-2025. That's almost slashing it in half. And they're not being subtle about it. Policy changes, tightened visa rules, and increased scrutiny are already making waves. The message is clear. Australia is recalibrating. So, if you've been planning to move for work, study, or permanent residency, this isn't the time to sit back and relax. It's the time to stay informed, move strategically, and be prepared. Because getting through the door might be a bit harder than it was before. Major changes kick in on 1st July 2025. Circle that date, because that's when a bunch of new rules come into effect, especially around income thresholds for work visas. In case you missed it, Australia launched a shiny new visa in late 2023 called the Skills in Demand Visa, subclass 482. This new setup replaced the old employer-sponsored visa and now comes in 3 flavors: specialist skills for those high-paying, hard-to-fill roles, core skills for the majority of skilled workers, and essential skills for critical sectors like aged care and healthcare. It all sounds like a step forward, right? But before you get too excited, here's the twist. From the 1st of July 2025, income thresholds for these streams are going up. The core skills and temporary skilled migration income threshold will increase from $73,150 to $76,515. For the high-end specialist skills stream, the threshold is jumping from $135,000 to $141,210. So, if you're planning to apply, make sure your job offer hits that new salary mark or higher. No shortcuts, no exceptions. Already applied? You're safe, kind of. If you're already in Australia, or your nomination has been lodged before the 1st of July 2025, you can breathe easy. These new thresholds won't impact you. However, if you're thinking of applying after that cutoff date, get ready. The updated income requirements will apply to all new applications moving forward, so make sure your job offer aligns with the latest figures to avoid any unpleasant surprises. Occupation lists. The next wildcard. Another important thing to keep an eye on? The Core Skills Occupation List. This is the key list that determines which professions are considered eligible for the primary pathway under the Skills in Demand visa. In other words, it plays a major role in deciding who can apply through the mainstream of this visa program. Now here's the kicker. It's scheduled for review this year, which means significant changes could be on the way. Certain occupations might be added to the list, some could be revised, and others may be completely removed. And if your job is currently listed, that doesn't guarantee it will remain there in the future. The landscape can shift quickly, and staying informed is crucial if you're planning to apply. Keeping track of updates ensures you're not caught off guard and gives you time to explore alternative visa options if necessary. Watch this space. Big changes could be coming. Fast processing. Still waiting. When the new visa system launched, the government promised lightning-fast turnaround, 7 to 14 days. Reality check. It's been more like 46 to 84 days, and some people are still waiting after months. And if you applied under the older 482 visa before December 2024, those applications are crawling through the system at a sluggish 5 to 8 months. So yeah, fast processing, not quite there yet. Employers are frustrated as skilled workers are waiting. It's a weird mismatch right now. Australia needs skilled workers while employers are desperate to fill positions, but the system is dragging its feet. Unemployment in Australia is still sitting near historic lows, around 4%, but without faster visa processing, roles are staying vacant for months. Even employer-sponsored permanent visas are taking up to 18 months to finalize. That's a long time to sit in limbo, for both the business and the migrant. Essential skills, pathway changes ahead. For migrants in critical, lower-paid roles, think aged care, disability support, hospital staff, the essential skills stream was designed to get you in faster. But reforms are expected here too. And with strong union involvement, these changes are likely to be slow, consultative, and tailored to specific sectors or regions. So, if you're heading in through this stream, expect a few more steps, and maybe a few more forms, along the way. Student visas, more fees incoming. Let's talk students. Australia isn't putting a limit on international student numbers anytime soon, but the cost of getting a visa is climbing again. In July 2024, the student visa fee more than doubled, jumping from $710 to $1,600. Now, there's talk of yet another increase, this time by $400, which would bring the total up to a hefty $2,000. So, if you're planning to study in Australia, brace yourself to spend a bit more than you might have expected. The good news? There's still a window to apply before the new fee kicks in, but you'll need to act quickly. What's the government really trying to do? In simple terms, they want to reduce net migration without crushing the economy. Labor's election pitch wasn't fewer migrants for the sake of it. They're trying to prioritize skilled, needed workers, avoid underpayment and job exploitation, align salaries for migrants with Australian wages, and make sure local jobs stay protected. At the same time, they've promised more housing, cheaper healthcare, better childcare, mental health support, and big investment in infrastructure. So yes, they still need people to build and deliver all that. What should migrants do right now? Here's the takeaway. If you're serious about Australia, skilled workers, check your occupation and apply before 1st July 2025 if you can. Students, beat the fee increase. Apply early, employers. Start sponsorship processes now to avoid delays. And regional migrants, watch for salary threshold changes and sector-specific updates. Australia's not closing its doors, it's just installing a better lock. If your skills match what they need, you still have a real shot. But the rules are shifting, and that window might get smaller and more expensive with every passing month. So, take action now. Until then, stay sharp, stay ready, and who knows, you might just be calling Australia home by the end of the year.